Well, hello, welcome to the Stadia Rokk Show. It's a weekly jam session with the old band, and what we do is basically we strum through the latest news, games, reviews, views, all that kind of stuff in the Google Stadia arena. So, okay, let's meet the rest of the band. Here we go. We have William, aka Stadia Pro Gaming, and we have John, aka For Scars Gaming. Let's shrink us all down because nobody wants to see up your nose, John. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. But I don't want, not this time of the day.
Not today, yeah.
Guys, how have you been playing?
Oh, man. I've been playing great.
Been fun. Yeah.
You've been playing great. Well, that's good to know. So, brand new show. All about Google Stadia. I've been promising to do this for a while. We've moved, Rock Review's still very much a thing, and that's moved to Thursdays. So more info on that. It's a later time. We can let our hair down a bit, and we'll, of course, be covering all the cloud gaming stuff. But today is very, very much about our favorite platform, Stadia, and we've got loads to go through. So we've got news. We've got, we're bringing back the old game review from, you might remember, from Stadia Rocks, where we did we judged 5 factors out of 5 for casual gamers, and John's going to cover that off. And then William is going to be doing the Stadia Pros Pro Stadia tips, which I couldn't resist it. I'm sorry. It's great to see. Absolutely. You know how I roll. Thank you to everybody in the chat for joining us. Great to see you all. We've got Codex, we've got Roger, we've got Jack, Peda. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Mr. Bayram, Paul Bayram, how are you? And Janae, who's buying and selling followers. What a lovely thing to do in my show. And oh, it's just, you can't, the charity is amazing. Anthony, and now your mama knows. Of course, Stadia Pro Gaming. Of course, we've got John. Jeff has joined us. Jeff I love the Christmas avatar that you had, Jeff. That was lovely to see. Our very good friend Ray, who we'll be seeing again on Thursday. Stadia Krampus, Kumnar, Vet, who again will be joining us on Thursday. Awesome stuff. Rokk Show, that must be me. Yes, it is. It's me on Twitch. How are you doing, Rock? Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much. Now, something that I have always been awful at doing, guys, and I've really got to get to grips with it this show moving forward, is kind of promoting the stuff, the engine, the stuff that keeps everything going. So I've got a shout out to my amazing Team Rock. And just recently, literally the last few days, I moved my Team Rock from YouTube to Patreon, largely because I have issues with YouTube. We won't go into them here. You know me, I'm Mr. Positive. But if you do, please drop a like, usually. Please subscribe to the channel. It all helps massively. And of course, if you want to support the channel moving forward, I'd really appreciate it. It's only from a very, very tiny amount of money. If you can afford a cup of coffee for me, even if it's just for 1 month, pop across to patreon.com/rock. And for the next couple of seconds, I'm going to just list my amazing Team Rock. Thank you guys so much. I absolutely adore you. You've been hugely supportive and amazing. Now then, John, Stadia. Yeah. We'll come on to the news in a second because we've got some news. Anything exciting that you think is going to be coming in the next maybe month or two in our brand new year?
Well, I'm sure there's going to be lots of surprises filled coming this year here. Anything specific? I'm not really too sure of anything specific, but I think we're going to find out when Twas hits, was probably, or Twos, sorry.
Yes.
We learned that it's Twos.
I called it Twas forever, and then they did that. They actually made it very clear it was Twos.
Bad habit, right? Bad habit. Yeah. So I think, we'll probably expect the Twos to hit tomorrow or maybe Thursday because of New Year's and everything.
Yeah.
But I would definitely like to see the first blog post of the new year. Maybe give us a hint at some upcoming games here. That would be fantastic. And we know that the last blog post of the year, they said that 2022 going to be better than ever, more like new features, more games. So just really looking forward to seeing what year 3 of Stadia has to offer.
Year 3. Wow.
Mm.
It's I mean, I was literally 7 when it started. It's amazing. William, what do you think? Do you think there's any big surprises due in the next maybe 2 months?
I think so. I have a lot of hopes and wishes, but I don't have I'm not going to be upset if they don't come true. But I do think that we're going to see a slight roadmap going forward, I think. And I'm excited to see what direction they're going to let us know they're going in. So.
Yeah, it's going to be great, isn't it? Now, it's the first show. I haven't had time to put loads of stingers together, and I worked all day on an intro. I hope you guys liked it. It's all rocking out there at the front end. But we're going to kick off, as we will do every week, with the Beat, which is our little rocking name for Stadia News. Now, we are the 4th of January, I think, today. So is it the 4th or the 5th today, guys? We're the 4th, aren't we?
Yeah, it's the 4th.
Yeah, that's right. At my age, William, all this stuff becomes irrelevant, mate. I can assure you. So let's have a quick look at the pro games that arrived on the 1st, which I did. I know I did a video for it over the weekend. I'm sure you guys did too. So we had five big pro games drop on the 1st. John, remind us what they were.
Okay, well, we've got Dark Side Detectives 3, Shantae, Bloodstained, The Dark Side Detective. Did I say Dark Side Detective 3? I think I did.
I think you said Darksiders 3, but
Darksiders 3. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, my brain's all jumbled up here. So we got Dark Side Detective, and then we also have the Dragons game from Outright Games.
Awesome.
Pretty awesome there. Yeah.
And those guys, I meant to look up earlier how many of their games, outright games, we've got on Stadia, because they've almost every month they've been dropping at least one new title from their library, haven't they?
Yeah, for sure. I think we're at least 12 games from them. It probably more, but yeah, at least a dozen games from them, and what it sounds like there's going to be plenty more on the way this year.
No, that's amazing. William, have you had some time to get your head into the new games?
I checked out Darksiders 3, and I would suggest if you have Pro, definitely claim it and check that out. It was real easy to jump into and run around, and it's got a very interesting visual style that I really liked. So.
I did. I played all of them in a stream. I think it was on the same day, and if not, it was the next day. There was a couple of 8-bit games in there, if that's your thing, retro or for mobile gaming. Darksiders 3, which is a great addition to. I think how many Darksiders we've got Genesis 1, 2, and 3 now, haven't we?
Yep. So we've got 4. Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. I don't know. Are there any more in the Darksiders universe?
No, I'm pretty sure that's it. I played Darksiders 3 this morning. I was streaming that as well. I think aside from, like, say, the numbered series, 3 is my favorite. Fury, she's just such an awesome character, and I love that her whip, her chain, whatever you want to call it there, she's just like a complete badass that kicks butt and takes names.
Paul says, right? Paul says we still need the first. So we have 2, 3, and Genesis then, do we? Or do we have the first one as well?
Oh, I thought we did have the first Darksiders. Maybe not.
I know.
There's so many games.
I know. There's a plethora of Darksiders. I personally prefer a lighter cider, maybe with a hint of pear, as a particular tipple. What else did we have? So we had a fumble in the dark. They're so funny to play, aren't they? They've got it's almost peculiarly a British humour to them. I'm not sure where they're developed, but it certainly made me chuckle. I was playing through those. What else have we? No, what else did we get? We got. Let's go back and remind myself. Oh yeah, shanty. Now in the UK, a shanty is basically a beer with some lemonade in it. So you so you really did have quite a bar of drinks. You could play a little drinking game along with these games, couldn't you? I think dark ciders and
I think
shandy.
you could, yeah.
Yeah. Bloody Mary. Oh no, Bloodstained. That was the other one.
Oh yeah, Bloodstained. Yeah.
Now that Shantae is the retro looking one, right? Like the 8-bit style or 16-bit.
Yeah, it's like a almost like a Sega looking kind of game.
Yeah.
Actually, it looked pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know anything at all about the studio from whence it came.
Not much.
No.
Yeah, not much. No.
No. Well, your homework next week is to have an answer. And then, and as you say, Outright Games, Dragons, and that's basically the franchise for How to Teach Your Dragon, isn't it? The animated feature, which actually is a really good little kind of looter RPG style game. I thought it was really well done. Again, I've only managed to play a few minutes of all of these, but as always, as it happens, every single month they're dropping something that every kind of gamer is going to go, yeah, that's up my street, which is the curation process, which I love. And Jack, good evening or good morning to you, sir. Jack points out there are 243 total games and 118 have been available in Pro. And I think your Pro library right now is about 45 games if you've claimed everything, because obviously they cycle some out, don't they? But that's amazing. So yeah, almost half of the total games have been made available as a Pro game.
Pro.
So if you've been paying your $10 a month or however much it costs in America land, and slightly higher in Canada and slightly lower in the disunited kingdom, then you've essentially got half of all the games that have actually been put out on Stadia for that money every month. I mean, that's a deal and a half, isn't it, guys?
Yeah,
that's an
incredible value.
Yeah, very, very incredible value. And they did a really good job of exciting me for at least one of the Pro games that were coming out each month. Like at least one was right up my alley. Like Darksiders 3, for example, when they released Hitman, Control, which is on my backlog and I need to get into that, but yeah, so they've excited me with a whole bunch of the titles, and I think it's a great value. They get my $10 every month.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's well worth it. Well worth it.
The way I see it is, even if you let's say, for example, you've come to the 5 games this month and you've gone, well, I'm not really into 8-bit, and the Dragon thing looks good, but I think it's more for kids. Bloodstain, I might have a look at that. It may well be that there will be a period, a given month, where the games don't necessarily excite you, but in terms of adding to your library, it always reminds me when I was younger. And Clive's in the audience. Clive will know this. There used to be a Britannia Music Club when we were younger, and you'd sort of pay a monthly amount, and every month they'd send you their choice of. Do you know the sort of thing, John? You get a chosen tape.
Here in Canada, it was called, and I think it's the same in the U.S. It was called Columbia House.
Okay.
And for a penny, you could, back when pennies were around.
Yeah.
For a penny, you could get like 8 or 10 cassettes. Maybe it might have even been 12 cassettes of like modern things. So everyone was like, "Wow, for a penny, I can get these cassettes that are normally." I don't know, they were $12, $15 in the store, something like that. I can get all the, $100 to $150 worth of cassettes just for a penny. Yeah. But then where they get you is that monthly commitment where you have to buy purchase a cassette, and of course it was overpriced.
Yes,
of
They've got to
course.
make their money back.
Of course.
And so these are the days, before the internet, right? So to scam them was easy, because I knew like a bunch of people. They would just sign up with multiple names at the same
John's
address,
going
right?
there.
Hey, I mean, I got to keep it real, right? Got to keep it real. Be honest.
Yeah,
And,
the FBI are
yeah.
watching, but that's okay.
That's okay. Well, I mean, this is how long ago now? 25, 30 years
Wow.
ago,
So you were
right?
literally 6. That's amazing.
No, I wasn't. But yeah, I know, tons of people that did that, and it was just like, sign up multiple names at the same address. You end up with like 50 cassettes for a couple of bucks, and then you just shaft them on
the commitment.
On the commitment, because like I said, at that time, this is back then, they weren't all pursuing and we're going to threaten it to put it on your credit. And like I said, no internet and stuff like that. So, obviously is Columbia House learned their lesson, and, it's no more, but yeah, good times.
The thing is though, that the thing is that yeah, you didn't know what you were going to get every month, and some months, it would be a Joan Armour Trading or something. You think, well, there's 2 tracks on that worth listening to, and then another week it's going to be a best of Springsteen, and you think, oh yeah, this is awesome. Well, it's the same here, isn't it? There are some weeks, some months where you think, maybe, and then there are other months where they blow you away, and everybody's different. So there's going to be a month that works for each of us. But the point is, you end up with this vast library. And at any point you can go, I think I'll just have a look at Wavetail. I've heard some good stuff. I didn't bother with it too much. You go and have a look at it and realize it's one of the best games you've played in a year. And that's the beauty. And these guys are curating this content to find the best of indies or double A's or occasionally even triple A's, so that we get to try out different games and see what we think about them. And if you don't, if you don't think it's going to be for you, don't claim it. But I've never seen the point in not claiming the games.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I have to thank Pro for West of Loathing, for the SteamWorld Heist games, or the SteamWorld games. I wouldn't have played those without them just giving them to me on Pro. And then after playing them, I found a deep love for them. I love those games.
Yeah,
I hear that from tons of people. Everyone I talk to, when we talk about Stadia Pro, it's like, I ended up playing this game or that game, and I normally wouldn't, but you know what? It's part of the monthly subscription, and they end up loving it. Like, I mean, for example, you mentioned Wavetail there. I think outside of Pro, I think it was around $30 Canadian, something like that. So, even if you wanted to, let's say, like, you get the game, you could just get the Pro subscription for $10 or $12. It's $12 here in Canada. And so you're saving yourselves $18 to $20 right there just for one game. So it's a great value. I've always found, like, each month that there's at least one game out of the bunch that definitely, appeals to me. And, to me, it's an incredible value and worth it.
I totally agree. And the important thing again, and I will bang on about this probably every week, because I still think people don't quite get it. It's what Stadia excels at is immediacy, friction-free gaming for people like me, lounge gamers, casual. I don't like the term casual gamer, because you can be a gamer like I am. I play every day, with my legs stretched out on the old leather sofa. So I can't really say I'm a casual gamer, but I'm certainly no sweaty. I'm no pro gamer. And that's the beauty of Stadia. Oh, I've got 20 minutes. Let me fire something up. And that's their audience. They're not after, the real hardcore gamers, the real kind of, I'm going to put in 8 hours in Battlefield or whatever. That's not their audience. So they're curating games for who they believe is their audience. And the other thing I love as well is they put a family title in every month, no additional cost, like some other platforms. It's so you've literally got content. There's nothing that's really nasty on Stadia. They kind of try to think all the time about the different demographics and the different ages and the different family types that pick this stuff up. And of course, they have family play as well. But look, I'm overselling Stadia. Let's move on. Let's move on, guys. I've got there's this. Hopefully, this will show up on here. This really caused some huge interest, and Twitter exploded, almost broke over this news. And it was that Samsung announced towards the end, I think, of 2022, or certainly later in this year. And put that in context, they typically release their new sets around October, I think, in the TV land. So we had the new LGs come out the back end of last year. They run, I think it's WebOS, and they had Stadia, able to download Stadia. Essentially, it was in their library. And of course, the app would have had to have been developed for them because it's their own platform. And now we find out that Samsung are doing the same thing. They're kind of going up a notch in a sense, because they, as we can see here, they're creating what they're calling a gaming hub.
Yeah.
So, they're literally giving us not only Stadia, and they run Tizen on their platform. You Tizen, me Webos. So with their system, again, whatever comes into their app store has to have been at least worked on with them in hand to make sure it works.
Yeah.
So we've got Stadia out of the bat and GeForce Now. But the great thing is as we can see here, they've got a sponsored box. Stadia are promoting themselves. It looks like down the bottom we've got popular games, so we should see again Stadia having some just jump straight back in. And this is amazing, isn't it, guys?
This is awesome, because now, and this is where I think cloud gaming is going to see a lot of growth, is in the television sets. Like you mentioned, we've got LG and now Samsung as well. I mean, you just pop on the TV here. You've got this gaming hub, right? It's got not just Stadia. It's got two other services as well, GeForce and Atomic, I think is the way it's pronounced.
Yes.
And you can just jump right in. This is like amazing for like the discoverability, like people that don't really know anything about gaming or cloud gaming in general. Just this hub here, they're going to say, oh, well, look, Rayman, I like Rayman, or Watch Dogs. They show Ubisoft stuff here, and you can just grab any controller, pretty much connect it to the TV, Bluetooth if you want to, and just fire away at it. So this is just more eyes is always a good thing,
Yes.
And not going to say that it's going to be super popular and there's going to be millions of people subscribing, but you now have a wider audience. And I think we've seen here in the last probably 4 to 5 months, like Stadia, we're getting that upswing. Ever since the sale of things, there's more talk about it. I see on social media more people, I got Stadia for Christmas, or I picked this up. Let's give it a shot. And so more people that see it, more eyes on it, the better. And I think this is great, and we're going to see some growth here in cloud gaming over the next couple of years. And a lot of it is going to be driven by things like this on TV, mobile, and tablets and things like that.
William,
well, Rogers comment there. He says, how many million high-end TVs does Samsung sell per year? 10 million. I don't know the answer to that, but let me just give you one little example. I just purchased a brand new big screen TV, and the first thing I did after I got it set up was to check out all of its apps and of its internals, and just what it had available, what I could do with it, and I imagine that I am not something special when it comes to that, checking out what apps are installed and this and that. So just think of 10 million eyes going across Stadia or the GeForce Now. What is that? They click on it,
right?
And now they've got a good view of it because it brings all of it up in graphics and nice pictures. And I think that it will be amazing. The one thing about cloud gaming is putting the controller in somebody's hand makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
No, it's true. My brother sent me a message over the weekend. This is a true story, folks. He said, what console are you playing on these days? And I said, well, why? Because, you name it, I've got them all. And he said, well, he said, that PS3 you gave me about 10 years ago? Yeah, well, I'm just wondering if they still sell games for it. And I said, Tony, brother's name, here's a link to Google Stadia, my friend. I said, look, you can run this on your Sony TV. You can just
Mhm.
download it. I said, you can try it for a month as well and try all the various games out. And I said, you can probably even use your PS3 controller with it.
Mhm.
And I said, it's going to take you 3 years paying a full subscription for Stadia to cover the cost of a brand new console. And I said, by the time you've paid for that brand new console, there'll either be a new one or they'll have got
Mhm.
rid of it and moved to the cloud anyway. So, so this is your opportunity. And this is the great thing that I can feel so confident now to
Yep.
say to someone who's, I'm thinking of getting back into gaming after all these years. I mean, he is the epitome of a
Mhm.
classic Google Stadia player, of someone that
Yes.
they're trying to aim it at. So
Yep.
that's the kind of thing, isn't it? And I'm hoping if I can get a referral code, I might get a few quid out of him as well. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think this. Guys, you're absolutely right. This is
Yeah.
what's happening here is it's getting Stadia in front of a mass audience,
Mhm.
and most importantly, the audience that Google thinks is
Right.
prime for Stadia.
Yes.
Yep.
And it is that I've said it a million times. It's that whole friction-free process
Yes.
from clicking the game to getting that lovely 3D parallax graphic to being straight into the game faster than
Yeah.
any other platform
Yep.
with no friction makes
Yeah.
it a perfect family and lounge gaming monster. But
Mhm.
Samsung they've sort of dangled a carrot. They've said they've shown some screens. They've clearly indicated it's coming. They've not
Mhm.
said as yet whether it's going to be 4K 60 or higher.
Uh,
But they said they're working with their streaming partners to make sure they get the best experience.
John,
So
did you ever get your update for your web OS, or are you still one version behind?
Yeah. My
Oh,
LG is hold on. Apologies there. My LG, I've got the C9, so it's a 2019, and it's the WebOS is 4.9. And usually with LG, they'll just support that WebOS for that particular year. So I don't think, that the C9, at least from what they've said now, that it'll have support for it. It's from 5 and up. So it
gotcha.
is what it is, but that's okay.
good shout there from Kel. I hadn't even thought of that. That's how much of a mercenary I am. Add your brother to your family account. Yes, of course. If only so that he can have a little play with it. Because you were right in what you said earlier, William. Once people experience it, I had somebody. I don't, not a battle because I don't get into that stuff. But on
Mhm.
Twitter, there was. I'm trying to think what the context was. Somebody was talking about a console and playing a particular game. Oh, I remember it was to do with Destiny because as you guys may or may not know, Destiny
Mhm.
are they're going to be retiring some of the older legacy content and the legacy planets and stuff with the new game that comes out in Feb, or the new update.
Right.
And I said in the chat, if they actually moved Destiny proper to the cloud so that hard drive and downloads are no longer an issue, you could have all the content that's ever existed for Destiny. You could even incorporate Destiny 1 in this
Yep.
vast
There you
cloud-based
go.
universe. I just think it's
Yep.
an obvious thing to do. Still make it available if you want to download it and have that kind of curated experience where it's
Mhm.
just big enough to fit on your hard disk. Anyway, I got the usual, but most people can't get a connection and the latency is terrible and da 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 da. What do you do?
Try it.
I
And then
try. I try.
Yeah.
you ask them, but 9 times out of 10, you ask them, "Have you tried it?" "Oh, well,
Yeah.
no, 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 I
No.
haven't tried it yet." So
Of
it's like,
course.
you know what?
Yep.
You can't talk about it unless you have an experience with it, an honest experience
Yeah.
too.
Yes.
Don't set yourself up for failure where you're in an office network on Wi-Fi with
Yeah.
1,000 other machines, and
Like the
you hit,
Washington Post did.
yeah,
Yeah.
you hit
Oh,
the,
don't
you
go
hit the
there.
space
You'll
and
upset Clive.
yeah. But yeah, that's another story for another day. But yeah, once you try it and you have, you give it an honest, you're open minded and you're
Yeah.
honest about it, and just give it a chance there. You'll find, 9 times out of 10, it's a great experience, and it's slowly changing. People's perception of it
Yes.
is starting to slowly change. It's just going to take time, as with everything. So
Yeah, and
onwards and upwards.
for some people, they're not going to believe in cloud until Sony has put their stamp on it, or Xbox
Right.
has put their stamp on it, and
Yeah.
you know how that tribalism goes.
Yeah.
It's a
Or
very good
there
point.
might even be some, that never ever, I'm sure there's people out there that still use 8 tracks, and 8 tracks are the best. They won't listen to anything else but their music on an 8 track, right? So
Yeah.
Yep.
it is what it is, but we'll get
You
there
you make very good points. What's always interesting as well is to see what the non-gaming community
Right.
are talking about. And here's our next consent, whatever. Here is, I hate those things. This is an investment website. So this guy, a bit like the Motley Fool, advises on shares and stocks to sell and hold and buy and so on. Now he does a big piece here on Google Stadia and thinks it's going to actually significantly boost the value of Alphabet, which stock tag is Google. Goes on to talk about all the latest Stadia Pro games, but also the size of the industry and all the various players and so on. But I think, from my perspective, to start to see the financial industry and advisors, and these guys are rated top 5, I believe, in investment research in the States. So to see them saying, yeah, actually, this is the future, this is absolutely where all the big players are going. You, as an investor, you really should start to think about getting in on this, because it's only going in one direction. And clearly they're showing here all the major stocks are looking pretty healthy, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost like COVID in London right there. I mean, that's so yeah, I thought that was interesting. It's called Zacks.com, Zacks.com. So if you go on there, you can hunt that down. But I think, looking at any of these advisors, and again, people like Motley Fool or any of the big guys, where they're talking about the quality of the marketplace. That to me, if anyone says to you cloud's going nowhere, then these guys, they don't gamble, they take risks, but they do a heck of a lot of research before they invest their hard-earned. And like
the only dice they roll are weighted.
yeah. Well, they actually, what he finally says, and it's quite a long piece. Top 10 stocks. At the very, very end, he says his recommendation is to hold on Google. Here you go. Currently, Google's parent Alphabet carries a Zacks rank of number 3. Hold. But he's essentially, the whole piece is essentially saying that this is a big one for 22. And it's predominantly all about cloud gaming, but he really heads this up, pushing hard on Stadia as the flagship cloud gaming platform. So awesome. Go and have a look at that one, guys, if you have 5 minutes. And then what do we have? Do we have anything left? Of course we do. And as Clive is in the house, and John is in the house as well, something rather spectacular took place just a few short days ago, the Stadia Community Game Awards. Well done, chaps. Big round of applause for John and Clive.
That
who hosted.
That was so fun. It was so awesome.
It was a great show, so well produced. You guys did an absolutely awesome job. To be fair, I got a little scared seeing Clive in a dicky bow tie. He does look like a Bond villain. And I don't know what he's boasting about there, but I'm imagining it's the size of his controller. But it was a great show. How did you feel it went, John?
Oh, it went fantastic. Hats off to Clive. The production value on that show was amazing. He spent a lot of time, I could tell you, making sure everything was right, and it was fantastic. Like, the own expectations for himself and the show were so super high, and he delivered like in droves on that. It was
Mm,
so awesome. I
mm.
had such a fun time being a part of it. I helped collecting the data and the votes from the community, and looking at that, and helping promote, and just being on the show there, in the studio with Clive there. It looked like, we were just sitting beside each other. And you'll notice if you watch it, sometimes Clive will look over and, like, pretend to be looking at me, and it was just great. And what was awesome too is the community came out. It was Friday,
Yes.
New Year's Eve, 8
Yes.
p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. And there was a whole lot of people. I think at one point, if I remember Clive saying correctly, we up to like 70 concurrent viewers,
Nice. That's
if
awesome.
not even
Wow.
more.
Yeah.
And there's been a ton of views. I think it's over 1,000 now on
That's
the
great.
video.
That's great.
So yeah, it was great. And everybody had a fun time. And just hats off to Clive, hats off to everybody, the community, and the committee as well on that. And it was fantastic show. Looking forward to the awards again this year in December.
No, it's cool. And I mean, Clive, as you know, Clive works or at the BBC.
Mhm.
So he has production value in his blood.
Yeah.
I know he's already talking to Brad Pitt for the next one. So sorry, John, has he not told you that yet? Let's have a quick
Not yet.
rundown. Let's have a quick rundown of who
Yeah,
the
look
winners
at all
were.
these wonderful winners. Yeah,
Yeah.
William, do you want to just run us through these winners?
yeah, absolutely. Stadia Ongoing Game of the Year 2021 was Cyberpunk, and that is a fantastic game. Check it out, everybody. Runner-ups was Destiny 2, RDR2, and Assassin's Creed.
You might want to
Valhalla.
skip the runner-ups, mate, because we're
All
running
right.
out of time. Just-
Okay, multiplayer game of the year was Rainbow Six Siege. Indie game of the year was Wavetale.
Yep.
Stadia RPG was Dragon Quest. Stadia simulation game was Humankind. And then here's my favorite. Stadia racing game of the year was Wreckfest. Stadia family game was Just Dance 2022. And Stadia sports game was FIFA 2022. And action adventure game of the year was Far Cry 6, which is fantastic. Platformer of the year, Rayman Legends. Played years ago. Haven't played it on Stadia yet. Stadia Pro Game of the Year, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Fantastic title. Best use of Stadia features, Humankind. And Stadia Game of the Year, Resident Evil Village, which is also great.
Do you know as well, when you look at those 13, how can anybody say there's not any games on Stadia? That's 13 out of 248, and each one of those is a major title.
Every time I hear that, man, it's like my backlog's tapping me on my shoulder. Like, there's so many games. So many great games.
Just amazing. Right, that is it for the news, but don't go away, folks, because I'm going to hide this. Bring us back up here. This is going to take me 2 seconds. Don't go away. I've just got to quickly switch to the next overlay for John's joystick review. Which is, I can't wait for this. Now,
Oh my gosh.
you guys may remember, I don't know that you guys, I'm sure you probably did, William, the original Stadia Rokk Show that I did with Duncan and then I did with Ray. And it was kind of it's how I started streaming. So it was a solo thing originally. And it was, we rated a game out of 5 different features. And those features were essentially, let me remind myself now. Oh, just putting the video up here for you as well, John. Let's get that. That's ready in 2 seconds. So they were, how quickly can you get into the game? So, does it load fast? You have to wade through loads of menus and stuff. Can you pick up from where you left off? So if you jumped out to pick up the kids, can you get straight back in after, or was it set you right back at the beginning of the game? How easy is it to play? It's a big plus, I think, in our kind of arena, in our audience. Do you need to be a pro gamer like William, or can you be more of a casual like me? Is it rewarding? So do you feel like you've achieved something in the game? Does it keep dragging you forward, drawing you towards the end? And finally, is it value for money in the true sense, in the monetary sense? So we've got 5 points on offer for each of those. And the game today is, John?
The game is Chicken Police Paint It Red.
Ooh.
So I just want to mention first.
You play and it records.
Shout out to the joystick here for John's joystick. I actually had that same joystick for my Commodore 64.
Yeah, that's where it came from. I've
right.
I've got a mini Commodore 64 that I bought.
Yep, same
when
here.
when have you? Yeah, when Clive and I were doing the retro show not years. Well, it probably was years ago now, Clive. And I bought the little mini one with a little tiny little tiny joystick. So that was all cool. Let me turn off the subtitles. Right. So number one, this is Chicken Police.
Yes. So the Chicken Police here. Let me give you a little bit of backstory on this here. So the Chicken Police. It's a point and click adventure game that is similar to, like, Dark Side Detective or those old point and click Day of the Tentacle Maniac Mansion. But this one is unique in that it's an animal noir adventure game. So as you can see here in the video, it's got that 40s style, and the characters are all animal heads on human bodies. And the very first time that I saw this, I was like, what the heck? Like, it was so weird. But this game is so funny too. It does deal with some mature themes, and it has, innuendos on things like, they play on the word, for the male rooster, it's a cock. So, they'll say, play on things like that. But it's just so funny. It had me cracking up. I originally planned just to stream this here for an hour, but I ended up like 2.5 hours because I just couldn't get enough of it here. And as you can see in the video here, it's pretty straightforward. It is really easy to get into. You just pop here, look, you're starting the new game up, and you're throwing right into the game. It stars Marty and Sunny. Sunny is actually the main character. Marty is the sidekick, is what we'll say here.
Are they all chickens?
Well, no. There's chickens, there's dogs, there's deers.
Oh, wow.
There's all sorts of different animals, and they all have their own personalities. The voice acting in this is clucking fantastic, and it is great because, like I said, they make all of these innuendos, and they play on the word, for the male rooster and the cluck, and it takes place in Clawville there. And this is absolutely, I'm going to try to go through in order here on our list here, but how quickly can you get into the game? I'm going to give it a 5 because you can go bam, just right in. You load up the game, you hit start, and you create, your new save game, and you can see right here, you're right into the cut screen here, and you're ready to go. And this sets it up very nicely. The story is fantastic.
I love the film noir look.
Yeah, exactly.
Gorgeous graphics.
It is, and I think like I'm thinking like when they were coming up with this game, is like, okay, they came up with the story, but then they're going to say, they thought, how are we going to make this unique? Well, let's go ahead and make it take place in like this animal world of Clawville, where all the characters are animals and very well animated, and I love the voice acting in this. If this game did not have voice acting, it wouldn't have been the same. Like, it completely seals the deal on this game and why I would recommend buying it. It's easy to pick up and play. It does.
No.
Oh,
someone's cooked the chicken. Oh no! Oh, they were doing so well. They almost had that crime beat.
Yeah, they did.
Pedder's put 99p towards me paying for YouTube Premium to get rid of the ads. But I've only got another 19 to go.
Yeah, you can see there. So that's Deborah, right? And she's come here to.
She's the Impala.
Is she a llama?
Yeah. No, she's a
llama.
deer.
He
A
does.
deer.
William, you obviously were never taken to a petting zoo as a small
Never.
boy, were you? No.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay. So there you go. No, she's a zebra. I'm
Oh,
Oh,
misunderstood. Yeah. So there's a whole wide cast of characters in there, and you can easily pick up this game where you left off. It automatically saves for you.
cool.
So it's easy. It's really easy to get back into. So again, on that, I'm going to give that a 5 out of 5.
Awesome.
Easy to play, sure. I mean, it's a point and click adventure. So I played with the controller on the TV, and so there you go. You hear me saying a comment about the voice acting. So it's really easy to play. I used a controller, and you just point and click on things. You also can use the D-pad. You either press down or up on the D-pad, and it will reveal all the things in the scene that you can click on and interact with. So yeah, it's very straightforward. You don't have to memorize any type of button combinations or anything like that. It is super easy, and it doesn't require you to be a pro at all. This is definitely made for what we'll say is the quote unquote casual gamer, and just someone that you want to like sit back and just like nothing too serious. You're gonna laugh your head off here with just the absurdity, and it's very intriguing. The story is super interesting and drags you in and keeps you wanting to play. Like I mentioned, I originally was going to just stream for an hour the very first time, but I ended up streaming 2.5 hours. It is so funny.
Look, you know what? I may not have a zoological degree, but that is not a zebra. She is most clearly not. Look at the head. At the very worst, it's a kangaroo. That's an impala.
yeah.
Well,
Or a deer.
Or a deer. Yeah.
That ain't
that's
no
what I thought.
zebra.
I thought it was a deer.
You've been to the
but,
same petting zoos, haven't
Yeah,
you?
right, exactly.
So again, takes place. It's got that film noir, the 40s type gangster type of movies and stories and things like that, and is definitely like a very intriguing story with a plot twist near the end of the game.
John,
I won't give it away. Yeah.
Just a quick question: does it play kind of like L.A. Noir, where you have to like do an investigation and then before you accuse somebody?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yep. So you're collecting all this information here throughout. I think there's 30 different places that you can investigate that it comes up on the map, and you talk to a whole slew of different characters. There's different questioning tree paths. There's you might have to come back and find this other person again or animal and talk to them and put things together. There's a board where you you put this person's picture up here with this clue, you tie it together, and it does a very good job. There's 5 chapters, I believe, total.
Wow.
And after each chapter, it kind of does like a mini summary.
I never get this many ads. I tell you what, John must be creaming it in. I bet he's set up an ad every 2 minutes.
Well, so there you go. So there's Marty there. Marty's the sidekick there. They were chicken police. They're ex-chicken police. They were a duo.
Click off, Sonny.
And yeah, click off, right? There is some swearing in it as well. So definitely, if you've got young kids around, you probably don't want them to be listening to, especially some of the innuendos and the odd occasional swear word there. But I'll leave that up to the discretion of the person there. But it's definitely it's a very interesting, funny, unique story that I enjoyed. It takes anywhere, and this isn't collecting everything. It's about 8 to 10 hours worth of content, and it is very reasonable price. It is I think it's like $20 US, 25 Canadian.
Wow.
And I definitely got my money's worth out of this. Getting that 8 to 10 hours of gameplay and fun. Look, so you can see there's a rabbit there, a stork as well. Look, we're questioning them. Yeah. See, look at it's just absurd, and to hear what they're talking about. Yeah, and
Look at his mouth.
Yeah, look at the mouth. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right? It's just so funny, and Sonny is like very classy in the classic. Marty's like this badass who wants to go in guns blazing and kick butt. So
Yeah.
Wow.
the team has a dynamic duo, and Handy Games is just great, and I'm so glad that they did bring this to Stadia.
Oh,
I highly recommend.
such a sense of
Yeah,
humor they showed on Twitter. The way
yeah.
they promoted the game, just fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So exactly, we can see there. Look, 17.99 UK.
yeah.
So this is like an easy impulse buy, um, and it's great if you like the point and click adventure type games here. Like I said, like Dark Side Detective, this is right up your alley. Funny,
Love it.
funny,
Love it.
funny.
So
Very easy to get into. Yeah.
so John, you gave it 5 for quickly can you get in? You gave it 5
Hmm.
for can you pick it up when
Hmm.
wherever you leave off. You gave it
Yep.
5 for how easy is it to play. You gave it
Play.
5
Yep.
for being rewarding, and you
Yep.
gave it 5 for value for money. So that's a
Yeah.
full house. You know what that is,
Yeah.
don't you? It's a giant John's joystick.
Boing.
That's coming next week.
Yeah.
That is coming. That's
I beg your
20.
pardon. I beg your pardon. This is a
25 out of
family show.
25. Well, maybe it is for your family.
But anyways, yeah, a giant John's joystick. I had a clucking good time with this game. I highly recommend it. And just for a couple of dollars, you'll have hours and hours of fun, laughing, and it's so great.
It's
So
it's
there you
to
go.
be honest, I first time I ever saw it was when you streamed it, and I fell in
Hmm.
love with it straight away. It's
Yep.
so up my boulevard. I
Hmm.
absolutely love the artistic style, the sense of
Hmm.
humor, like you were
Hmm.
saying, William. The kind of the noir look to it as
Yeah.
well. That kind of
Yep.
30s 40s film look.
Hmm. Hmm.
What's not to love? And the price is bang on as well.
Yeah, yeah. They're not overcharging you at all. They knew exactly their audience for this, the price point, and they delivered on this immensely. So there's a hint possibility at the end of the game that there might be more
Ooh.
adventures of Marty and Sonny. So hopefully we see more Chicken Police here in the near future. I would love it.
I love that. That's so cool.
Mhm.
Thank you very much, Jill. A round of applause there for John's giant joystick. Woo! There we go. It's a
Oh,
beautiful
Lord.
thing. It's a beautiful thing. Now, next up, we've got our final feature for this week's episode. I need to hide that one and grab a new screen. This is a new feature featuring William, in fact, and this is. Let me just 2 seconds, William, while I find this. Well, there it is. Awesome stuff. Right. So, new overlay time because it's time for Stadia Pro's Stadia Pro tips. What are you tipping us this week then, William?
Just a little bit of combat from Baldur's Gate 3. The game can be complicated as it's not just as straightforward as run up and hit something. So if you take a look here, this is what your combat bar looks like if you have the keyboard and mouse on. As you can see, everything is laid out for you. You can see everything. That is not the way it is with the controller. So people that wanted to pick this game up and play with the controller, I wanted to show how you cycle through these bars because it's not as straightforward as you may think. So basically, with this game, every character, when you get into combat, has a movement, an action, and a bonus action. So as an example, you can walk 30 meters towards your opponent. You could... an action would be shooting your bow and arrow, and a bonus action would be drinking a potion to heal yourself before your turn is over. Then you end your turn. So what you do now is we just entered combat. On the controller, you would hit the Y button. So when this pops up, you'll see me move. Yeah, you'll see me move here eventually anyway. And I'm showing you the enemies that are on the screen right now. But so you're allowed to move so much, do an attack, and then do a bonus action. You also have to highlight the character that you want to hit in the proper manner. Now, if you're there's also other things involved, like if you have the high ground, you have a better chance of hitting and all of that stuff. But so you hit the Y button to access this bar that popped up. And then with the top right bumper, if you click that, it will cycle through all of your options. There's another bar, and there's another bar. And so what you would do is you'd hit the Y button, and then you'd hit the top right bumper to cycle through all of your options. You would hit the A button to select your option, whatever it may be, and then go ahead and do your attack. Now, a lot of people have overlooked this game because it's not as straightforward as a lot of other games. Now, as you see, it shows 85%, and I did hit. Now I'm going to end that turn, and then I'm going to move this Warlock. Now, everybody has different stuff they can do, different attacks. This spell here, if I was to be hit, I would do an automatic attack back for fire damage onto that person. So the game is very much in depth, but I wanted to show you how you would activate that bottom bar with the Y button, because there's so much for you to do. But if you don't understand how to cycle through some of this menu, you will always do the same thing over and over again. Combat isn't done correctly, and then your game suffers for it.
Wow. This is has this been actually fully released now, or is this still in early?
It is still in early access. They expect it to be out by the end of this year or the very, very beginning of 2023.
Right. Okay.
But every patch that comes out, they change the game fundamentally. So, like, as an example, when I do an attack with Lazille here, the chick with the armor on, they added other attacks, because it used to just be your bow and arrow and your sword, and that was it. Well, they added in like cleave, slice, all these different attacks and stuff. But the last patch, patch 6, they added about 20 more hours worth of content into the game. They added a new area for you to explore. And they also revamped the lighting system. So we get the patches usually day and date with PC, but the lighting system was so dramatic of a change that it took a couple more weeks for them to iron out some bugs for us to get it. But we're all caught up now, and the new content, it's called the Source Forge, has been entered into the game. And it is just super, super fun. Now, I'm not going to get into super in-depth stuff. I just showed you how to cycle through and do some attacks. But as an example, this game is in-depth enough to where you have grease spells or ice spells, and you don't have to cast that on a person. You can cast it on the ground, and anybody walking towards you may slip on ice. So there's all kinds of different ways to fight and to figure out stuff. And here I'm going to show you the mightiest thing in the game: push. Never forget, after you've attacked and after you've moved, make sure you push, because you can push somebody right off a ledge and kill them with one hit.
Wow. Wow. That is absolutely amazing. It's a game that I like the look of, but I've kind of held back on the basis that it's early access, and it has always appeared to me a bit like Humankind. You've really got to devote the time to fully understand the mechanics, because I think it's it's there. It will reward you if you do, but if as I've already stated, my casual gaming stance, I've got the attention span of a very old gnat that's been out in the pond for a bit.
This game has a very cinematic look to it. It doesn't look like it right now because we're in combat, but if you walk up to a character, you literally have like a movie with that character for a minute, and you decide how that movie plays out. It's very interesting. I would suggest everybody give it a chance, at least. And there's about 50 to 60 hours in early access altogether right now.
Crazy.
That's awesome.
It's a 3-act. It's going to be a 3-act game. So we're probably looking at 120 hours to complete the full game.
Wow. So definitely worth investing. And if you buy it now, early access, you won't have to pay more for the full release. So you're kind of going, you're developing with the game and actually helping to fund it as well. Yeah.
Larian Studios takes direct feedback from their players. That's the same way they did Divinity Original Sin 2.
Wow.
So if you picked up this game at early access when it first came out and you played it, it is a very different game now. Very, very, very different.
That's amazing.
Wow.
William, thank you so much for your tip. That's actually got me quite in. There's 2 games now from this show that I want to go out and buy straight away. Damn you guys. Damn you.
Yeah.
We've now, John, you discovered, I'm just going to bring this up. You've I just want to hide the overlay a second, and then I'll bring this up. You've just spotted something very interesting
Yeah.
on Twitter.
Yeah.
Now, I'll just, if you can give me 13 milliseconds, I'll pop that in there. Right, okay, that should show up. Right, okay. So you just spotted this, and then very interestingly, this connects with Stadia. Do you just want to explain what this is all about here?
Yeah. So if you go ahead and scroll down just a little bit here. Yep. So here we go. So TCL has announced here they've upgraded their service, another game center. So this is similar to what we're seeing of Samsung here.
Samsung, yeah.
Yep. So now look at this again. Cloud gaming content, and look what we have. Google Stadia ready. So there's just another TV manufacturer, TCL, here that now you can play Stadia on your TV without.
Just think if you're a TV manufacturer and hey, you didn't develop the technology, you didn't do any of that, but hey, man, all you got to do is throw the app on your TV and now it's a gaming console, pretty much.
Yeah,
I mean, that's amazing.
Exactly.
From a manufacturing standpoint, that's amazing.
Yep.
And it also underlines what Stadia said this time last year that they were going to be doing in 21, which was working with third-party partners to widen the audience and take Stadia to the masses. Bingo! First couple of days of January 2022, and we've got Samsung, and now we've got TCL as well. Now, I'm not familiar with TCL as a manufacturer. Are these guys North American only?
I don't know.
Or maybe it's a
North
different name
American
in the
only,
UK or Europe.
But I have
a lot
the
of those
TCL.
were sold at Walmart and stuff like that here in the US.
It's an inexpensive but higher quality TV, if that makes sense. There, so it's not the top of the line, not midway, but it's like the higher end of the lower priced
Gotcha.
TVs,
which is again ideal territory for cloud gaming.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So here you go. So this is awesome. Yeah. I just
That's
spotted
incredible.
that tweet here. And I thought, well, let's see if we can
that's an awesome
tweak it in the
find.
last couple of minutes of the show.
Well done.
So great news from CES this
Mr.
year.
Obenwald, $2,000 for an 8K screen. I mean, that's ridiculous. I sit 10 feet back from my television. Even 1080p looks like 4K with my eyesight. So I don't know whether I'd have to be right up against the screen to get the value. But that's not the point. It's as you've said, John. They're the low end. They're affordable quality. Let's put it that way.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly.
So it gives an entry point for people for cloud gaming. It's manna from heaven. Try and convince a PC player to play with the kind of millisecondage and the latency. Probably not interested. But for Stadia players and other cloud gaming players, this is perfect. And this is a game center. Again, similar to Samsung. They're promoting it as a gaming hub, not just flick on the game filter.
So that means that that these apps will be baked into their gaming engine if they have it on the TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a great place to end. Thank you so much, John, for spotting that. That's brilliant. Well, there you go. That's been episode 1 of the Rokk Show. Let me just hide Mr. Obenwald. Thanks for joining us, my friend. John and William, you, my friends, have been absolutely outstanding. Where can people find you on other places? And what are you guys up to this week? Starting with you, John.
Well, Twitter, YouTube, recently opened a Twitch channel as well. So you can find me _gaming on Twitter, YouTube _gaming, and on Twitch it's the _4scars_gaming. And I'll be covering some CES stuff this week for the Best Buy Canada blog. Also be streaming some more games. So I think I'm going to be doing a one-hand clapping. I talked with the devs last week
Yeah,
about that, and it was a great time. Very interesting to learn some of the things from them. So I'm going to go ahead and stream that later this week. And of course, Ninja Guy X and myself, every Fridays we've got our Stadium Connect North. So
great
just
show.
a little bit here and there this
Yeah.
week, but busy as always.
You know that I bought that one hand clapping when it was early access.
Mhm.
I kind of feel inclined to stream that at some point
You should
because I
try it.
can
Just
imitate
like
birds. I'm pretty good at bird
yeah.
imitations.
Well, just like
Well, you got
William
sultry
mentioned
tones
about
too.
yeah about games from early access into the final. The final game is different. You know, still very similar to the early access, but
Hmm.
it is different. And you know, yeah, you don't have to be like a perfect singer. You can hum and change your pitch and all that stuff. It's fun, and you use the your controller too to move back and forth. You can use the voice to help interact with the puzzles and
Hmm.
things like that. Fun, and again, another affordable game. I think that's $15. And again, from Handy
Yeah,
Games, it's $15 like to buy the game out right now. Early access was ridiculous. It was like
I
four
know
or
it.
$5, right?
It
It
was
was
like,
just
why
like,
wouldn't you? You know, it's like I want to help these guys, and
yeah,
so yeah, it was a good thing to do. But
yeah,
I might just kind of, I like to
you should.
exercise the old vocal cords from time to
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
William, my friend, Stadia Pro Gaming, where can we find you? What are you up to?
Well, later today, I'll be doing a 15-minute show with my buddy, The Climax. We're going to do, it's called The Man Cave. It's just 15-minute small bite-sized discussions. That's later today, but every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can catch me at Stadia Pro Gaming at YouTube, and I stream at 12 CST. Play all different kinds of games, community games.
Yeah, you're both
Cool.
absolutely brilliant members of my band. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm really looking forward to next week's episode now. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Hmm.
Thank you, chat, for joining as well. Please do hit that like and subscribe if you aren't already a subscriber, and pop across to patreon.com/rock to join the Rock team, or in fact, Team Rock. I don't care. Call it what you want. As long as you're in it, I'm happy. Guys, say goodbye, and I'll be seeing you on Thursday in Rock Review with Ray and Vet, and I'll see you guys next week, and I'll be doing some solo stuff as well as the week progresses. Chat been amazing.
Okay.
Thank you for any donations. That's always welcome. We'll be seeing you all next week. Rock on.
Bye.